Welcome, everyone. So good to see you on this cold, dark night. Wet, too. But we have begun to turn toward the light. As of a day ago or 2 days ago was solstice. So every day there will be a little more light, which is a good thing. So I'm going to do the same talks that I did this morning. And I want to begin with a prayer before we do our refuge and bodhicitta prayer. And this prayer is called Trading Suffering for Purpose. That's good. A prayer to end harm in the world. It's a long prayer, but I'm just going to read the first 2 paragraphs. In every moment, may I see the beauty and grace of my precious life. This rare chance for meaning, this vast opening for growth. May I fully appreciate that I have food and shelter for my body, the capacity to learn and understand. I have a sensitivity for truth, time for the Dharma. May I not take for granted that I have read the words of a Buddha, heard the teachings, stood in the presence of great beings. May I hold every situation, every encounter, every activity of my life as rich with the potential to be meaningful through practicing the Dharma and transforming my mind. That transformation of mind is what we're engaging in here through our calm abiding. And because of the endless, infinite, boundless interdependence, as we tame our own minds, then we bring peace to others. So let's begin our shamatha with our refuge and bodhicitta prayer and listen very carefully to what we're saying. And remember that we are here for ending the suffering of others.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge, sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering, establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge, sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
to guide us just a little in our shamatha, I've brought some words from a wonderful teacher who I've never met except in print, Venerable Tenga Rinpoche. And I got these thoughts from him out of an amazing newsletter, Shenpa No Cell, which used to be published routinely, but I think it's all gone out of publication. At any rate, here is what he said about what we're trying to do. First, we are resting our mind. And he said, when you rest your mind at that time, do not think about the past. Do not attempt to prolong the past by thinking about what you did yesterday or what you did last month. Do not beckon the future, by which is meant, do not think about what you're going to do tomorrow or what you're going to do next year, and so forth. And with regard to now, do not attempt to alter or change the nature of your mind. Just rest in it, as it is, as you find it. Do not attempt to do anything to it. If you can preserve this way of resting the mind through mindfulness and alertness, then you can vividly see the way your mind is. So when we rest and we stop trying to do this and that, or we stop trying to stop doing this and that, then we experience so many things. But one of the things that becomes so clear is the impermanence. Thoughts go through, sensations go through, emotions, stories, memories, planning, but none of it has the nature of permanence. And as Venerable Tenga says, if we don't grab on and entertain or grasp or push away, then we simply see that impermanent nature, that kind of vivid appearance with no real solidity, appearance emptiness. Sometimes the mind's like a waterfall, and there's so many thoughts, so many emotions. That's okay. It's just a waterfall. It won't be that way all the time. Then sometimes it's like a river. Then sometimes it's like a quiet ocean. None of those is better than the other. There's no better and no worse. It's just what it is. So now we'll meditate, not even trying to meditate. Just relax the body. The mind is alert. Be happy that we're doing this. When we get lost, be happy that you saw that. Then, lost in distraction again, no problem. Come back. Rejoice that you noticed. And that's all we do. So it's quite good to be really clear what the anchor is, usually the breath. For some people who know shamatha with no object, It's kind of the motion of the mind itself, but that's kind of advanced. So when you experience, I got lost in a story, just come back to the breath. Be very kind and loving to yourself when you do that, because any judgment you have just adds more confusion. So we'll take a little stretch about every 10 minutes. But please enjoy your meditation and rejoice that you're here together with others who want to meditate. have a little stretch if you need. Relax. Check in if your mind has been excited or dull. If too dull, you can brighten it. Bringing in more light, for example, opening your eyes a little. If it's very excited, you can imagine a small black dot right in front of you on the floor, and just focus on a dark dot to calm the mind down. Relaxed yet alert.
this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thank you. So we will have a tea break now, but I have an announcement or two. I think most people know about the upcoming New Year's retreat, December 31st and 1st. If you don't know about that, please, and you can come, please register online. And we will be planning a winter retreat in February, March, and April. That'll be some personal days that you can go out to search Osaling, our land out in the country, which is beautiful and has been blessed by 1- and 3-year retreats. So that notice will go up soon. And then I need to make an announcement, and I did not remember to bring Bill's letter, so I'll just summarize it. So our dear Dharma friend, Bill Spangle, who has been such good support for me as I began teaching here 4 years ago and came out of a Gelug monastery and didn't know where I was in a certain way. I mean, I also came out of a 1-year Kagyu retreat. But Bill, after Lama Michael asked me to help teach, Bill really became my dear guide. The one to go to for all my questions about how do we do this, how do we do that, and many hours of talking philosophy and just really enjoying one another in the Dharma. Yesterday, Bill sent out to the community list a letter, a beautiful letter that setting forth that he is not going to be teaching or leading. He's stepping back from that. And he apologizes if anybody feels shocked and surprised. He's thought about it for quite a while and said it's his own personal decision. It's pretty clear he's not leaving KCC, but what kind of role he'll be in or whether he'll be sitting out there or just gone for a little while is not totally clear. I think it will unfold. So he also invited people to email him or call him if you had any unfinished Dharma questions with him, and wishes everybody well. It was a very kind letter. I find myself working through all the stages of when you have loss. And so according to Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, which we followed as I was with my dad while he died from kidney failure, and it took about 5 weeks. And that book had, thank goodness, come out. It was the mid-70s. I was young. I was quite young to lose a parent. I was 28. But So I find myself going through first this kind of shock, surprise thing, like, oh, really? and then denial, like, nope, that ain't happening. He's just not here tonight. He'll be here next Sunday. And then kind of she outlines a sort of bargaining thing where you just kind of, maybe we could do this instead, maybe we could do that instead, maybe we could, and these all are before the kind of acceptance that comes, like, oh, this is the way it is. And that book talks about how we do all of those stages kind of all at once. One moment I'm in surprise, the next moment I'm in grief, then I'm in denial, then I'm in bargaining, then I'm in trying to figure out something else, and then I get to acceptance too. And it's okay. We'll go forward. Some of the longtime students will be helping more, so that Lama Michael and I won't be doing everything because we can't. So especially, I want to thank Jeff and Sally Allworth, who have already talked with Lama Michael, and he invited them to help with the New Year's retreat. And we're going to plan being a team leading that with Lama Michael. And then Julie Herlocker and Peter Woods, who have both done one-year retreats, will also sometimes be helping to lead shamatha. So don't worry, we'll be here, and hopefully you'll be here. And then we'll just keep going with our Dharma. I did share what I found to be a comforting and lovely quote about loss and separation from our own dear Venerable Bokhar Rinpoche, who's the one that told Lama Michael to build that, that rural retreat center. When it was like, what to do next? We've got an urban center. Should we get a new one of those? Should we do? And Bokhar Rinpoche said, be very good for Westerners to have opportunity to do long, long retreats and put those roots down. So here's what Bokhar Rinpoche has to say about situations like this. Like birds landing on a treetop together and then dispersing. I was thinking of all those crows in Portland, zoom and zoom. We are together for a very short time. He's talking about our deaths too, not just short times in life. You think of endless, beginningless time, 80, 90 years. So, like these birds landing on a treetop together and then dispersing, we are together for a very short time. So it makes sense to live in harmony, in unconditional friendship. So whatever someone does, stay unconditional friends with them. Okay, let's have tea. The bookstore is open. There's all kind of wonderful things in there. If you haven't bought gifts yet for people or yourself, there's some good things in there. We'll have tea and come back for a Q&A. Thank you. How you doing, William? Do you go by William or Bill?